And hello and welcome everyone to the comic multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet. As always, I am your host Joel on this show that I swear is not a front for anything. So you know I'm telling the truth, right, Matt?
Yes, this is not a front or a money laundering scheme for anything.
No, no, Matt and I are in no way in hock to the Armenian mafia, we swear. I don't even know anyone named Blecek. And if anyone from any organization is listening, that's the truth. Sometimes, man, you just got to keep these openings interesting. I don't want to feel like we say the same shit every week.
No, yeah, you got to keep them interesting.
hmm The comic multiverse, the show we promise that won't radicalize anyone into any action of any kind. Just, just the good old, same old, boring shit week after week. We swear.
Brought to
And
you
you
by
can
the
take,
Russian government.
you can take that to the bank, the money bank, for your dollars and not your rubles. But yes, everyone, we actually have a surprisingly big show, all things considered. A
Yeah.
lot of stuff actually dropped and happened during the week. Some stuff that we never thought would happen.
No, no, yeah, some very surprising stuff.
I guess we'll get the top story out of the way right now because I'm sure it's the one that's on everyone's mind, and that is that James Gunn has returned to the Marvel fold. He has been rehired as director of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and you know what? Good. Justice was served. The good guys actually won one after a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, yeah, and it's being reported by some places. I don't know whether it's true, but this deal was like made like months ago.
Yeah, I've been hearing the same thing where it's like, it's not so much that we rehired him as we fired him, realized how much we fucked up, had to save face from getting astroturfed and getting lied to by a bunch of neo fascists on Twitter. So we just kind of didn't go about hiring anyone. That's why you didn't hear anything, because we knew we'd just bring them back. Oh. But you're happy though, aren't you? Don't be mad at us. Don't be mad at Disney though. We gave you back what you wanted. Don't be mad. That's
Yeah.
kind of what this is.
Oh yeah, it totally is. Yeah, they rehired him back probably pretty quickly, but they left it because of the like shitstorm
Potential.
around it.
They're like, we want to make 100% sure we're being screwed. We're pretty sure we're being screwed, and fans are mad at us than they've ever been before. But let's actually do a little due diligence compared to the no due diligence that we actually did. And I think the silver lining about this one is like, hey, not only do you get Guardians 3, but we're also getting a rebooted Suicide Squad now. So you basically got two movies out of this deal.
Yeah, yeah, James Gunn got double the work out of being
E-
fired.
Heck, you can consider it triple the work too, because Batista gets to go back and have a WrestleMania match this year because they didn't start production on this movie yet.
Yeah, everyone win-win.
Silver lining on this one. Although, of course, there's the naysayers and complainers, as they always are. There's a guy out there. I'm not going to out him because he is a fan, and again, his heart did seem to be in the right place. But he wrote me, and his his general tone of the tweet, he said, was something to the effect of like, well, I guess the new Suicide Squad isn't even going to be special now if he's just going to go and do Guardians. And I'm like, well, that's very pessimistic and very looking at the glass half empty, sir.
I was talking about this with some people as well, and I said it gives him the ultimate challenge because now he has to
Yeah.
make Guardians 3 not be like Suicide Squad, which in turn was a copy of Guardians, and he has to
Massively.
make his Suicide Squad different from Guardians, which was
Yeah,
copied by the first Suicide Squad. So
absolutely.
it's a big challenge.
Absolutely. Again, the same person too actually said something that got me thinking. They said where it's like, well, it just seemed like James Gunn was really adopted by the DC movie family, and I'm like, what?
No,
What
he
family?
wasn't. People were calling for his firing.
Yeah, already I'm like, there's no family. Marvel might talk about there being a family, and yes, they're chummy, but that's all studio stuff there, man. Work is work for these people, and they don't know the difference between a lot of this stuff at the end of the day. They might have to learn, but the fact is they're going where the money is, people. Don't buy into the studio tribalism. Don't buy into the Coke versus Pepsi, us versus them. You gotta have it one way or no way type thing. Again, this is the best way that it could possibly have turned out because you get to have your cake and eat it too, and now a great creator gets to make two movies. Don't think one is any less special than the other because now you get both.
Yeah, yeah. I am interested to see like whether he whether they like offered him something else other than Guardians to like
Mm-hmm.
bring him back and kind of apologize for what they did to him.
Yeah, they better have had a big chocolate apology cake waiting for James Gunn. Sorry, we listened to neo-fascists on the internet. We're sorry. Our bad. Well, you actually said something quite interesting on Twitter, Matt. What's another movie that we talked about on this very show that apparently Gunn wanted to develop before the
Mm.
firing happened?
Yeah, Thunderbolts apparently. So maybe they might give him a Thunderbolts film. Although that's kind of very similar again to Suicide Squad.
Yeah, now you're triple dipping into it. It's like, look, he can help develop it. Maybe he can produce it and write it, but maybe let someone else direct Thunderbolts. Because if he does all three of these, it's going to be like, hey, hey, wait a minute. It would be especially funny, too, if Gunn's like, oh, well, I just used my script treatment for Thunderbolts for this new Suicide Squad movie. Shit.
I just replaced the characters.
Yeah, God dang it. You said another interesting thing, too, there on Twitter, Matt, that got me thinking, where it's like, if I was Gunn, I'd almost not want to come back,
Yeah.
considering how they treated me and how they fired me with very little recourse for complete trumped up bullshit reasons after giving them two massive films. I guess maybe what got him back is the idea that all the other actors went to bat for him.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he felt beholden to come back as much for their jobs as for his. And also probably too, the fact that they were going to use his script anyway was the sad of it. It's like, well, fuck, if I wrote it, I might as well direct it.
Yeah, yeah. I think those are the reasons. But yeah, I know people were saying like oh no, he came back because of money. I'm like, I don't think he's one of those type of people. Like, yeah, he's in the business, but I don't think he's one of those I'll do anything for money people.
No, he's not a Brett Ratner. He's not a Bryan Singer. This is a guy who made Slither and Super and all of these other, like, neo-junk trauma movies. This guy is not in it for the money. He wrote that first Scooby-Doo movie.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, if I was him, I wouldn't have taken the job back, or at least I would want something like he's gonna get creative control over the story, like more creative control over it or something.
Yeah, I get to do stuff now. This is like my hall pass now. You guys fired me, and now I get to get away with something.
Yeah, can I like you've just gotten back all these new characters like Silver Surfer and all that? Can I like have them?
Yeah, I know, right? That would be the thing where it's like, well, the ink's not really dry yet, but yeah, I guess we're still in the apology phase right now. So sure, have Galactus and Silver Surfer and the Super Skrull and all these other characters while you're at it. Because that might be the thing too, where it's like, look, I'll do 3, but if I'm not feeling happy at the end of 3, maybe I'm not going to come back for a 4 or for anything else.
Yeah, this could be his final MCU film. And really, what a great one to go out on, because he was the first director to finish a trilogy.
Yeah, same guy. That was another thing too. When he's gone, it's like, no, we were so close to having one guy finish a trilogy.
Yeah.
That would have been very nice. But yeah, that's good news. That's stuff we can all be happy about there. The good guys won for once. In a week that was loaded with bad news, it was nice to actually hear one kind of sort of good thing come out about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, speaking of Marvel news, and Marvel news just dominated the frickin' week this week. Sorry, everyone who was expecting DC news this week. That's just not the kind of week it was.
No, not at all.
No, but we got the next Endgame trailer.
We did. This is like came out of nowhere.
Really, it really did. Like when I saw it in my Twitter feed when I woke up in the morning, I'm like, this is some fake fan trailer bullshit. Why are people talking? Oh, fuck, it's real?
I first saw it when the actual Marvel Twitter account was sending it out, and I thought, they're just like re-promoting that old trailer, and then I'm like, oh no, this is new.
Now, in fairness, there wasn't a lot of new in it. In fact, the majority of the trailer was just kind of like, reimagining and recontextualizing famous scenes from the other Avengers movies, which isn't a bad tactic at all. They put a cool filter over it. They get very artsy about it. And again, this strengthens the idea too. It's like, oh, are we going to be doing time travel in this movie? Are we going to be revisiting some of this
Mm.
scenes? That's what everyone seems to be thinking.
I think so, and as well, like I was actually thinking about it yesterday. The trailer actually gives us a good idea of like how the movie is structured, like in terms because like right at the end we see like their new like those white suits, and we see like obviously Tony and Nebula are there, and everyone's like, oh, that spoils it. I'm like, it doesn't really, because I think everyone's kind of got the idea that like in that first trailer where we see Tony on the Benatar and the ship's dead and everything, they think that's the start of the film with him and Nebula. I don't think that.
Yeah.
I think that's like near like the midpoint, and I think that's after everyone's gone off into space.
Interesting.
Like, because he would have had the working ship on Titan from the end of Infinity War. It wouldn't just be broken down. So you
Yeah,
could just get in it, go to Earth, get the Avengers, go off to fight Thanos. They lose, and then the Benetars like send out through space.
It's a lot to think about, and Marvel is very good and very tricky about this when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to their trailers. They'll digitally impose, different backgrounds, and they'll put
Yep.
characters in scenes who aren't in scenes in the final product, all to protect what's actually going on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anything of those scenes could be like completely different in the film, or not even in
Very
the
true.
film.
Also, that there's a lot of places they could go. That the big one of the big things, and I think one of the big like emotional gut punchy things is we see Clint Barton Hawkeye teaching assumedly his daughter to shoot an arrow before assumedly she disappears, and that's led a lot of people to believe like, oh, is that his daughter? Is that Kate Bishop? Is this universe's answer to Kate Bishop?
I think that's his family, because you see him in the background, and I think that's maybe like, as people have theorized, that's going to be like at the start of the film, his family getting dusted, because in that scene you see on his ankle he's got one of those ankle bracelets like Ant-Man had, because he
Mm,
also took a deal like Ant-Man did.
right, he's on probation.
Yeah, so maybe that's how the movie starts, with his family getting dusted.
Oh, that'd be sad.
That'd be awesome.
It would be sad, but it would be a really great way to reestablish the stakes. And again, remind people, hey, we've actually changed Clint Barton quite a lot from his comic counterpart. He's not like a weird losery loner. He actually does have a family, and he actually is a little bit more mature than his comic counterpart.
Well, they made him Ultimate Clint Barton, basically, who had a
Yeah,
family who also died.
who also dies. They also gave him a truly ratty Southern haircut too, where it's like a weird mohawky thing, but all cut on the side. Theo Vaughn, the comedian, he had a funny one on Twitter. He's like, man, everyone in the South had one of those back in the early '80s.
That was another casualty of the snap.
Mm, he lost that bit of his
Yeah,
hair.
yeah, it just dusted.
Just dusted, and then it just like super kicked him into like a Hawkeye midlife crisis. He's driving around in a muscle car dressed as Ronin, beating up Chinese gangsters. I'm so lost, I don't know what to do. Dressed like a ninja and beat people up. Seems like a solid plan. Till the other Avengers work on something. Also, we see Brie Larson here in the trailer as well,
Mhm.
as Captain Marvel, but out of the costume that we saw her at the end of her own movie in the post credit.
Yeah, yeah, it was a really cool scene. Set the tone between her and Thor. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't shake, man. You see my hands? I don't shake. I don't flinch. Carol don't play, son. Carol don't play. I don't know if it was Mitch or was someone on Twitter who's like, ooh, the bit with the hammer, is that a fun, jokey scene, or is that to tell us, oh yeah, she also has her cosmic awareness power? I am cosmically aware of that hammer that's coming towards me. I don't have to look. I don't even have to look, man. Can't see it. Don't even have to look. But yeah, looking fun. Endgame's gonna be great. It's gonna be huge. We know it's gonna be huge,
Yeah, it's gonna be here within a month.
which is shocking. And we're gonna have Shazam before that.
Yeah, Shazam's like what, 2 weeks away, three
Yeah,
weeks
not
away.
far away at all. I couldn't believe that when I looked at the schedule. I'm like, really? The Captain Marvel movie and the Shazam movie are only going to be a couple weeks apart, and these are like the first time these two have ever been on the big screen.
Yeah, and they were in the same year, just a couple of weeks apart. That's insane.
Again, just adding to the weird kind of shared history between these characters.
Yeah, yeah.
And Shazam's getting really good reviews too from the people who've seen it early.
Yeah, I usually don't buy early reviews of any movie
Mm-hmm.
because usually people get to see the movie for free.
Just happy that they got to see it early.
Yeah.
I know I would. So hey, any movie people out there giving away press tickets, the comic multiverse wants to be your people on here.
Yes, but the movie does look good though.
It does look good. It looks like a great new direction for the DC cinematic universe. And actually, hey, I didn't write this down, but I should have wrote this down because this actually is a big important piece of DC news. The Flash. We actually heard a status report on what's going on with that movie now.
Yeah, Ezra Miller's writing the script with Grant Morrison.
Well, okay.
Fuck?
Question. Question for me in the class: Why is the actor writing the movie? Are things really that bad at the Flash? Have you really gone through that many people that the main actor's like, fuck it, I'll do it. Give me the script. Give me open office and a laptop. I'll write this movie. Scene 1, open pan down on Ezra Miller. He's a cool dude.
Well, from the report, which I think was like Deadline or like Hollywood Reporter or something, they said that like the directors, who are the game night directors, and the guys who wrote the Spider-Man Homecoming, wanted to do like lighthearted, more in the vein of like Shazam, basically where the DC universe is going at the moment. But Ezra Miller wanted it to be more like how he was in like Batman vs Superman, like Justice League, like darker. And I'm like, he doesn't understand the Flash.
Yeah, question, but why, Ezra? Why would you... Have you not seen how much money Aquaman made? Did you not see how much Shazam is tracking for? Why? Did you not see the fact that Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck aren't here anymore? Why are you the one holding out on this, Ezra Miller?
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, the studio doesn't have to accept the script. Like, he's doing this, like... on his own dime, I imagine, or something.
I guess, which is so fucking weird.
Yeah, so like they could just say, no, we don't want your script. We'll go, and then if that happens, he'll actually leave because I think his contract ends in May, like his holding contract. So we could get a new Flash soon.
I mean, it's like at this point, guys, you already lost your Batman. You probably lost your Superman. You haven't said it, but we can all see you basically lost your Superman.
Yeah.
Barring certain cameos maybe in Shazam, but it certainly seems like you've lost your Superman. Everyone loves your Wonder Woman. You can't get rid of her, which is why her sequel seems to be a soft reboot.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like a reboot, but not.
Aquaman made money, and people really like Jason Momoa, so you can't get rid of him. I'm sorry, Flash. Until you perform, you are replaceable.
Yeah, and... yeah, Ezra Miller never gave me anything that made me say like, "Hey, this guy is really good as the Flash." Like for one, he doesn't actually know how to run.
No.
That's quite a big piece of the character.
That's not to say I don't like Ezra Miller, but it just kind of feels like maybe he's punching a little bit above his station. Or, and this is a theory, maybe he's such a nerd and such a fan, he just really wanted to write something with Grant Morrison, and he saw this as his excuse.
I remember I said something, it was like, oh no, Ezra Miller's not starring as the Flash, Grant Morrison is.
I'll do it myself. I'm the only one who can do it to bring it to life. I'm Barry Allen. I'm a crime scene investigator. I get hit by lightning. Oh no.
Well, and that's like another thing. Like, you get Grant Morrison to write a film. Like, I don't think any studio is really going to accept that film. Like, while it will probably be great, it'll probably be fucking weird.
Why is this 9 hours long and reads like a peyote trip? Because I was high on the peyote when I wrote it.
Yeah. I don't know if people are gonna like want to see that type of film. Like I would. Grant Morrison writing it. Yeah, he's a fucking amazing writer. But yeah, the general audience wouldn't want to see it. It'd be too fucking weird.
You know, I would say too, probably the only reason they were even willing to read something from Grant Morrison now is they're probably like, hey, what are the numbers on that Doom Patrol show? Oh, pretty good, you're saying, huh? Okay. Oh, people are liking it. Who wrote that? Oh, this Scottish guy, Grant Morrison. Oh, you don't say. And what about that Happy season 2 getting lots of Netflix plays there? Oh yeah, sure. Oh, people are excited for the new season, definitely. Who wrote that? Oh, that Scottish guy, Grant Morrison again. Oh, well, he sounds like a smart cookie. Let's get him in there in this one. Not understanding that these are adaptations of Grant Morrison
Yeah,
stories.
and they are still pretty fucking weird. Like they leave out like a
They
big
are.
big pieces of his weirdness, but they're still fucking weird.
To where, yeah, we're on Doom Patrol now. Literally, the last two episodes were just, hey, let's adapt issue 31 and 33 of Grant Morrison's own run. So they're doing like straight up adaptations, even down to the Constantine guy who's not Constantine.
Yeah, that's not Constantine, and who has a guy based on him who is not him and is not
Yes.
Constantine.
Because DC was weird about Vertigo characters back then. Unlike now, where they're like, yeah, sure, Swamp Thing, Constantine, whatever, just put him right in there. But yeah, a Grant Morrison written Flash film. That see, I don't even know if he could do a Flash origin movie because then he'd be like, all right, let's start with the crises and how it was all his fault.
Yeah, yeah, he'd do something like how Barry traveled back in time and created the Speed Force, or
Yes.
something like that. The Speed Force is like him being born over and over again, or some
Mhm.
weird shit.
All right, so you knew in Star Wars when you open up and you get like the big title crawl. All right, it's like that, but now instead of that, it's the creation of the multiverse. Well, the first 2 hours will all just be multiversity because you got to get a good baseline of that for a Flash movie to really work. But Grant, we can't make. What do you mean the first 2 hours? Oh, it's gonna be like a 9 hour movie. It's gonna be like Gone with the Wind. We're gonna have intermissions. Also, too, instead of popcorn, we'll have acid. People will drop it before they go in.
That's what the like melted acid all over the popcorn.
So you'll really enjoy the movie. I don't know, Matt. The more we talk about this crazy scenario, the more I'm on board with this.
I'm totally on board with it, but the general audience wouldn't be.
No. Look, we're not making a movie here. We're making a mind expanding experience. Get on my level.
Yeah, I have to think that he's the one doing most of the writing.
You would
I
think
would
so.
hope. I would hope.
Has Grant Morrison ever written a movie before? Because I know that's always a thing where
I
it's
want
like,
to
no,
say he
oh,
has.
I'm sure he has, because that's always the thing where it's like, oh, if I can write one thing, I can write another. Not always.
I'd have to say he's pretty involved in like Happy and
Mm,
all of those sorts of things. So
stuff he's producing, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, well, there you go. So there's your update on Flash, everyone. What a strange situation that movie finds itself in. It's kind of the man without a country stuck in this push and pull between the old DC cinematic universe and the new one.
yeah, it's in a strange place, and I'm intrigued to see where it's going to go. Because as well, like the Flash movie itself has had a really colorful like timeline of
Oh yeah,
like it went through so many directors, then like start
writer.
dates and writers and everything.
I'm sure too what it seemed like for the longest time. It felt like they kept saying, "Don't worry, if we fuck up with the next Batman, if we fuck up with the next Superman or Aquaman, Flash will fix it all. We'll just make that a Flashpoint movie and then we'll fix everything we broke." Then it's like, Aquaman did good though, and Affleck is out, so we might not need to make a Batman movie right away. Oh shit. Well, we were kept planning to make this the Flashpoint movie where we fix all our problems, but now we're doing good again. What?
Yeah,
What?
what do we do? What do we do?
We don't know how to handle success. We're not, it's an alien feeling to us. If we're not constantly getting our, gonads stepped on and our lunch money taken, we don't know what to do. But I wish DC and Warner Brothers the best. It looks like they are finally moving in a good, worthwhile direction, and I hope they do figure it out. And I hope The Flash ends up being a good movie. And again, the other thing, and we've said this a million times too, that Flash has working against it, the TV show.
Yeah, yeah, the TV show that is, for the most part, been really great.
Yeah, people love Grant Gustin. Grant Gustin has already become this generation's Flash, and it's not like trying to get a new Batman and Superman years out from the last movie. No, the adventures of Grant Gustin Flash have been in our homes for multiple episodes for the last multiple years. You got
Yeah,
to fight that in like a 2 hour runtime.
yeah, yeah. You got to fight, especially like like the people who have only seen that show and be like, no, Flash should be like this, not this, whatever the weirdo in Justice League is.
Yeah, you like I do not envy you. At least with Aquaman, it's like, well, what do people have to compare it against? Basically nothing in the popular culture. Super Friends, and that's it.
Hmm.
Unless you're a super nerd and watched all the cartoons, the only thing that pop culture has is that.
Yeah,
Same with Wonder Woman, the Linda Carter show.
yeah, yeah.
And it's like that was forever ago, and there's a whole generation who never saw episode 1. I bet you've seen this Flash.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then even weirder than that, the Flash TV show is actually lending more credence to the John Wesley Shipp era of Flash too.
Yeah, making people go back and maybe check that out as well.
It's kind of brought that back into relevance too. You're gonna have people saying, well, Ezra Miller, he's no John Wesley Shipp.
He's no Grant Gustin.
There's no Grant Gustin. And somewhere Ezra Miller's like, that's fine, just don't make me do another Harry Potter movie.
Maybe that's why he's like doing all this. Like maybe if I show that like I'm actually doing something, like I can't go and do these fucking films.
Yeah, what's that, JK? Sorry, can't hear you. Rewriting the Flash with Grant Morrison over here. Sorry. Nope. Can't have me back, man. Don't you love that J.K. Rowling has gone full on George Lucas prequel era of being like,
she's gone worse than that. She's worse than that.
I mean, we'll give it time, but it is this matter of like, I don't understand why you people like these things. Now let me share with you some new canon that you're gonna hate for no reason. Some new
canon, 10, 20 years after the fact, even though like the source material completely just, goes against all of it.
But JK, if this is true, why didn't any of this ever come up in the books or indeed the last movie that you wrote? Nah.
I didn't think of it then. God damn it.
Didn't think of it then. Look, I'm just saying that Dumbledore and Grindelwald were involved in intense ass-eating contests that you never saw, but were very important to the plot, and I'm saying it now. Also, there was no toilets in Wizarding World. They disappeared their poop via magic.
That's got to be the most stupid thing ever. Like, how did you think that would be like, people will accept this?
But JK, we never asked for any of that. Well, you're getting it. Also, it was never called Korriban, it was called Moravan. But that's not even your thing, JK. Yeah. Well, is now.
I'm going to make the Ewoks blink.
That's her thing. She goes so far, she starts retconning other film series. Look, and you know what? Greedo, he was actually a wizard, and it was a wand, and he didn't fire first. How do you feel about that? Also, Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe. How do you feel about that? Oh, God, that film franchise really took a nosedive. But hey, we actually have some more news here. Over the week, Shang-Chi, the Master of Kung Fu, actually found its director, which means this project is moving ahead pretty strong.
And really quite cool as well. I'm excited for like a Shang-Chi film, like a good Kung Fu movie.
Yeah, it's not like Marvel has ever tried to do Kung Fu before. They never tried to do it before.
Never,
it
ever.
Never happened. I don't know what you're... 2 seasons of Netflix, I don't know what you're talking about.
See, that's the most interesting thing. And like other people have echoed this on Twitter and Facebook and everything about Shang-Chi. There's like, he's just a guy. Like, there's nothing special about him. He's just... He's really good. He's just like peak of human physicality. And like, that's it. And he can best characters like Iron Fist.
Oh, yeah. The director they got for this one, Destin Daniel Cretton is his name. He's got like 3 names, like a presidential assassin. Apparently, he made like a really popular film like last year that did like the convention circuit that everyone was really talking about. It's an Asian language film, I do believe. I kept meaning to watch it. 12 something. No, not 12:10 to Yuma. That's a different movie. Here, let's get the old IMDb up because Joel is very prepared and Joel knows what he's doing.
I've never heard of him.
Neither have I, but sometimes that's a good thing. There's a lot of directors. I never heard of the dude who did Spider-Man: Homecoming until I saw him, and he was really good.
The movie was called Short Term 20.
Short Term 20. Thank you.
Short Term 12.
See, I knew there was a number in there. Joel remembers numbers, but not words and names, and he remembers faces, but not names.
I wonder if Brie Larson had anything to do with him getting cast, because she was in one of his films.
Yes, I heard about that. I heard the Brie Larson connection. If so, good. That's good to have friends in high places, eh?
Yeah, I think she might have been in multiple of his films. Like, I think she's in Short Term 12. She's in another one on here called Glass Castle.
Right.
So maybe they're
Right.
friends.
Yeah, yeah. People were saying Short Term 12 is really good. Oh, it wasn't from last year. It was from 2013, so it was a couple of years ago now. But yeah, people were saying it was really, really good. It's about
Cool.
at-risk teens. There seems to be a pressure cooker involved. These are words Joel picks out as he reads the synopsis.
At risk, there's a killer pressure cooker that's at risk of killing teens.
Right, and Brie Larson has to fight it with martial arts. That's the movie I wrote here. I will report back when I've actually seen the movie. That's your homework for this week, everyone. Go see Short Term 12 if you haven't already. It's like when we all went and saw Cop Car because we knew the dude making that was going to be making Spider-Man.
Yeah, Cop Car was a good film.
It was a good film, and I'm sure this is a good one too. But yeah, so Shang-Chi actually happening, actually moving ahead now. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see like what exactly they'll do with him in the Marvel Cinematic
Hmm.
Universe. I imagine he is going to become part of like this new wave of Avengers, the new Avengers, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued as well to see who they cast.
Yeah, absolutely, because there's a great crop of Asian actors right now who they could totally get for the role.
Is Louis Tran trying to throw his hat in the ring like he does with
I,
everything?
I'm sure he is. Yeah, he might get lucky. Now, hey, here's the question here. So we had our first major, black superhero for the Marvel Universe with Black Panther, our first
Hmm.
major female superhero with Captain Marvel. Now we seem to be staring down the future of our first ever big major Asian-led Marvel superhero movie. Do you imagine the internet crybaby squad will be as in up as arms over this one as they were the other two?
Hmm.
Or, or,
I
or
don't
do you
know.
think or do you think that that thing that always goes around, that weird psychological thing when it comes to issues like this, the old saying of the model minority is what it is, and that is that most racist internet man babies give Asian people a pass for whatever reason, because like, oh well, they're the model minority. No, you just think that because the media spent years telling you that post Vietnam they actually put a lot of time and money. They could have done it to anyone, but they chose to do it to them.
Yeah, no, well, of course, there's still going to be like people that like, we can't have these people. That we need a white man to do this.
Mhm.
That we're still going to have those type of people. Um,
Why couldn't it be Charlton Heston as Shang-Chi, Matt?
old
Charlton Heston's
aged.
just as
We've got to
good.
dig him up. We've got to dig Charlton Heston up, and he's got to play him.
From my cold dead hands, I am the master of kung fu. No, no,
And he
Charles, you're just
just shoots him.
and he just shoots. So that's the whole. It's like just that bit in Indiana
Yeah.
Jones where he pulls up the gun, but it's that every time. Oh man, we wrote a great parody version right here. Deadly Fists of Heston coming summer 2020. The world is not ready, man. Ooh, ooh, we can cut it. We can cut it like they did Bruce Lee movies after he died, but it's just Charlton Heston who we superimpose into kung fu scenes. That's the movie right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, we take like all of his old films, like three of them, and just like
Yep,
intercut them like they do with like those terrible like Hong Kong martial arts films.
yep. See, that way we're taking the culture back. No, 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 look, we're using the culture of kung fu movies, but putting Charlton Heston in it. Look, if stupid editing projects can get off the ground, like let's remove the rat from what is it, friggin' The Departed.
Yeah,
Surely this can happen too.
yeah, and then we'll somehow put David Carradine in there as well.
Oh, I like that as well.
Yeah, even though he's been dead for years.
Yeah. Well, you see, we got all those great scenes from Kung Fu: The Legend Continues where he just fights slowly.
Yeah, well, and no one ever saw that show, so it's perfect. Everyone will think it's new.
I watched it when I skipped school. It was on Showcase. I'm like, whoa, David Carradine, he's Bill from Kill Bill. Let's see what made Quentin Tarantino want to cast him in this movie. The answer is not much at all.
Not that anyway.
The answer is he just sounded occasionally wise and had the slowest fight scenes you've ever seen. And like it was a total 80s cop show too, so they kept like having to find ridiculous scenarios for him to get involved in.
Yeah, yeah.
Where it's like, oh, can David Carradine save this bus full of children that has been taken captive by a crazy guy obsessed with TV? The answer is yes, he could eventually. After the fact, he absolutely could. And then there was the special episodes where it's like, can Kwai Chang Kang deal with like drugs? Yes.
In large quantities, actually.
Apparently so. Yeah, man, he was happy to do that episode.
The only thing he lost to was erotic asphyxiation.
Ugh. Can Kwai Chang Kang deal with bullying? Yep. There's not a problem the master of Kung Fu is not ready for. And also, his son was a cop, and then he had like his old uncle who owned like an antique shop and everything. That was a weird show, Kung Fu
It was.
Legend.
It was.
It's you know, I like how people say they don't make them like that anymore. They legitimately do not make them like this anymore.
And that's a problem.
And the legend continues part was the weirdest, where it's like, you know, maybe people won't want a kung fu serial anymore. What are we gonna do? Oh no, it's okay. He finds his son, who just happens to be a New York cop.
Works.
So we'll just turn it into a cop show, and that's what they did.
It won all the Emmys.
Everyone. And then he accepted the award slowly. And so yeah, Shang-Chi is great news, everyone, if you take nothing away from our rambling.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm interested to see when exactly that's gonna come out, because it can't. It's got to come out like at least 2020.
Yeah, you would think so. Also, too, hey, if Shang-Chi is getting a movie, does that also mean that we're going to see him return to a larger bit of prominence in the comics, as if to say we're going to see him actually come back in the comics?
I would imagine so. I swear I heard something about a Shang-Chi comic coming back soon. Maybe it was like a one-shot or something.
He's going to be in that Agents of Atlas team.
Yeah. I know he's in that. Maybe they'll spin him out of that.
Maybe they'll use that as a springboard. That's what I would do. It's like, hey, it's a team book, happens to have Shang-Chi on it, but let's give him some nice screen time, our panel time, so then we can spin him off into something else.
Yeah, and it would be really cool as well now that, like, obviously we don't have the Netflix shows, that, like, maybe Iron Fist comes up in different Iron Fist, like a good Iron Fist, but like,
yeah, that'd be fine.
You know, a proper Iron Fist that actually comes up and maybe teams up with him.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be all about that. What else did we have here? Oh, well, speaking of new Marvel Comics series, Donny Cates announced this week he's going to be doing a limited Silver Surfer series.
Ooh, yeah. Can't wait for this.
Again, hey, guess what the rights to what characters we got back and who we're trying to make prominent again.
Yeah, it makes me think we're going to get something Silver Surfer related soon in movies anyway.
Possibly. The cover of this would seek to imply that this is actually paying reference and maybe actually being connected to Donny Cates' big Thanos wins storyline from his last Thanos run, because we see Norrin Rad, we see the Surfer, but his silver hand is becoming like all dark and twisted and everything. And I'm like, oh, that happened in Thanos Wins, because when Thanos kills everyone in the universe and ends up being the last one in the universe, the only person left to stop him is the Silver Surfer, who went into the negative zone and like drank all the negative energy and became like the Dark Silver Surfer.
Yeah, I think even the story is called Silver Surfer Black.
Oh, well, there you go.
So maybe that's coming back, or maybe we'll get two. We'll get Norrin and this dark copy of him.
I like my Silver Surfer limited series the way I like my coffee, black with a little sugar.
A little bit of silver in it.
Just a little bit of silver in there. That's the sugary part. But yeah, this looks fun. You know, Donny Cates, he's one of those guys. He can't do any wrong at Marvel right now.
Yeah, he's doing like really. He's across some really good books, and they all are really, really good. They're all different. They all have their own voice. And yeah, it's great.
He's an idea man. I think, could we call this the Cates era of Marvel Comics?
I would say so. I'd say he's like, next to Jason Aaron, he's like their biggest. Yeah. He's the biggest one across most books.
He's their heaviest hitter. Again, too, I mean, the only person who I can even kind of compare him to in a similar situation, and this is going to make people laugh, Brian Michael Bendis when he started. It's very much a young Bendis situation where it's like, man, everything you touch is great. All your Marvel Max series and Alias and everything, and you're doing so good. Oh, your Avengers is so great. You know, because he's young and full of ideas.
Full of good ideas.
Here's hoping it keeps up, though. Here's hoping we won't say in like 10, 20 years, man, can you believe that Kate Superman book? How lame is that?
Oh my god, like current Kate Superman would be amazing.
That would be right. Oh yeah, could you imagine the pitches he has for Superman?
Oh, they'd be winners, absolute
I
winners.
I'd be all for that, but finish what you're doing at Marvel now. I want to see where your Guardians goes and your Venom goes and everything.
Yeah, I'd like to see him tackle Avengers at one point.
That'd be fun too. Again, I bet it would be very cosmic facing because all of
Mhm.
his stories end up in space one way or another.
I'd be cool with that.
I like that about his books. They're kind of like stealth space books where it's like, oh, what a fun Venom series. Oh, I'm in space now. I tricked you. You didn't think we were going to space, but we went to space.
Or what he does is he takes space characters and put them in like mundane situations, like his Star-Lord book, where Star-Lord was doing community service on Earth.
Was that him or was that Zdarsky?
Oh, I keep getting them confused. God damn it.
That's okay because Zdarsky is also having a great year at Marvel.
Yeah, I always get those two confused because they write like similar books. Like they have
A
like
little
one
bit.
connection from each other.
A little bit, yeah. Well, I think they're buddies too.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I think they reference each other, so
Oh
that
yeah,
probably
yeah.
what makes it confusing. But yeah, good on Donny Cates and good on the Silver Surfer. And our last bit of news here, again, because solicitations came out this week. We got the DC ones. We haven't gotten the full Marvel solicitations yet, but when we do, I'm actually thinking of bringing back Solicitation Station as a stream show. So subscribe to me on that purple channel that starts with a T and rhymes with itch. But apparently one of the new things Marvel has coming out in June is a line of one-shots called The Last Call, and basically this is them reuniting famous creative teams on the characters that I guess the runs they made famous. So Peter David is going to be getting a Hulk story.
The Hulk story as well sounds really interesting.
Yes, it does. There's going to be a Hulk story. What were the other two? There was three they announced.
I actually can't remember. I just remember the Hulk one.
I think there was going to be a Wolverine one, and there was going to be a third one. I can't remember.
Yeah, that makes sense if it's going to be a Wolverine one because he's so hot right now.
Indeed, he is, and yet doesn't have his own solo series. What's up with that?
I'm actually kind of glad there's too many X-Men books as there are at the moment.
I've quit
Yeah,
all the
same.
X-Men. It was too much, too fast. I wanted to be in. I wanted to
I
love
know.
it. I wanted
Yeah.
to be ready for it. And then I'm just like, no, you did too much. You weekly series me right into an event with a bunch of tie-ins. That's no. I'm
Well, not
sorry, I
only that,
can't.
the weekly series is still going.
Is it really?
Uncanny X-Men is still going.
Jesus
I don't
Christ.
think it's a weekly series anymore. That's what made me stop. I'm like, okay, we're at issue 10. Why, like, is it ending? Like, I thought
Oh,
this was
right.
weekly.
Right, the story from the weekly series is now just going into the monthly title, so there was no stopping point.
Oh, yeah, Jesus Christ.
It's too much. And like, look,
Yeah.
I know there's a certain type of fan out there for which this is perfect for, and that's the fan who only reads X-Men.
Yeah, that's the only thing they read every week.
To which, you know what? Hey, if that's the case, good on you. Sounds like they're actually giving you some stories worth reading now. I'm very happy for you. But Joel can't hack it, and Joel's channel can't handle it either. Because if I covered these, then I would just be doing X-Men books.
Yeah, exactly. There's way too many of them.
And I mean, I'm already doing 2 Justice Leagues. There's like already an Avengers weekly, and then the regular Avengers on top of that. It's just too much. Too much. But yeah, that's one shots, everyone. That should be really cool. I guess from there we can hop on over into what we read this week, and it's been a bit since we actually talked about what we read.
It has been. It has been.
It's only been 2 weeks, but it feels longer. Oh, hey, actually, for people who enjoyed the interview segment from last week, I'm glad you did. And to give you a little update on that, the Kickstarter that Ashley was talking about, the one for which the proceeds were going to pay for her own American citizenship, yeah, that went through. They actually met the goal, and so she's going to
Oh,
be able to pay
nice.
for her citizenship.
Awesome.
Now, I'm not going to take all the credit for this and say that it was the Multiverse Club that got it done, but I'm just saying if you have a project or something that you need to be boosted out there, to be megaphone to the rest of the internet, come talk to me. We'll work out a reasonable price now that I know that we are time tested. You know the Colbert bump, Matt, when he had his show.
Yeah.
Well, now we got the comic multiverse bump. It's real. It's true. There's no denying it from this one time it happened.
Yes. There's no other evidence but this one time, and that one time worked. work, so every time will work from now on.
Exactly. 100% of the time it works all the time. But yeah, so we can actually talk about what we read this week, and I actually got most of my reading done this week, I'm happy to say.
Yeah, I've still got a little bit to go, but yeah, I did like all the big ones.
Yeah, yeah. Where do we want to start this week, Matt?
Uh, let let's start with Superman issue 9 because I know you reviewed it.
I sure did. The return of the crime syndicate. How are they back when they were all killed and their universe was destroyed? Yeah.
Yeah, no idea. We don't even know which crime syndicate this is because
No.
uh, just I won't skip to the end yet, but yeah, yeah, we don't know which crime syndicate this is. Is it Morrison's Earth 2? Is it the newer Earth 3? Is it a new one? Is it like antimatter stuff?
They're
No
dressed
idea.
like the
Is
Earth
it
3
is
version.
is it a big hallucination?
it
No
gets
idea.
really it gets really confusing because Ultraman, who starts talking like an Italian gangster here, even though he didn't before, he only did in the animated movie, which shows that Bendis watched the animated movie and said, "Ooh, that's cool, I'll do that." He says, yes, you're the son of Superman. I fought your father, like several times." I'm like, "Not in the new 52 continuity, you didn't. You fought him like one time and then you went to jail." But okay. And then the Anti-Monitor fucking killed you, but all right.
Yeah, yeah. He John gets like taken by Ultraman and dumped in a volcano, which I thought was actually kind of smart because like he couldn't use his powers because there was no sun and the ash was like keeping like any solar radiation out. I thought that was pretty cool.
They do get confusing with the sun because Ultraman says, yeah, there's no sun on this planet, boyo. And then, like, in the next couple of paragraphs, like, "Oh, and if you don't behave, I'll throw you into the sun." I'm like, "Oh, so there is a sun,
I imagine
but
a
it's
sun somewhere.
yes, but it's not a yellow sun because everything is backwards here." And this Superman actually gets powered up by snorting kryptonite like it's cocaine, so obviously yellow sun radiation would hurt him, as we saw, which is why they turned off the sun in Forever Evil.
Yeah, yeah.
But Bendis is like, "I don't got time to go into
Yeah,
that."
I don't got time for that. No, he spends the issue treating John like a therapist for Ultraman, who
For some very
yeah.
bit like some like pulled out of his ass reason. It's like, Superman found himself when he was sent to Earth, and maybe you'll find yourself too. Which I'm like, oh, is he gonna try and turn John to his side? Is he gonna try and make him evil? Does he want a son? No, he just wants someone to listen to his problems.
Yeah, what was I actually kind of like that because it was giving something to a character that largely has just been used as like evil Superman. He hits shit.
Yeah.
He's evil. He's actually given him something to do.
It made him a little deeper.
Yeah, but as well, like that conversation he's having made me think, oh, is this all like a test from Jor-El? Because he was echoing stuff that Jor-El was saying about finding himself in like finding out about him about John and everything. So is this all just a big test?
Well, geez, I hope so, Matt, because if not, you just wrote a more interesting story.
Yeah, that happens very often on this show.
Also, there's a thing I forgot because he runs into Ultraman, who he makes a point of saying, "Oh, you look like my dad," and then he runs into Superwoman. Well, I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's right. In the Crime Syndicate universe, Superwoman is both Lois Lane and Wonder Woman at the same time."
Lois Lane, Wonder Woman, Superwoman, yeah, they're the same character basically.
Yeah, yeah. Ain't that confusing that there are three, but they're also one and the same?
Yeah, yeah. I think that confused a lot of people in my commentary that have only like seen the movie or like read Forever Evil. I'm like, no, they're like the same people.
They never went into it deep in Forever Evil, but it's this idea being like, yeah, it's not just like morality swapped Diana. It's like, Lois was also morality swapped, but she's also an Amazon in this world to deal with it.
Yeah, it's very strange.
It is. And this issue was strange.
Mm.
I kind of get what Bendis is doing. He's like, "Look, I made John Kent a new character. Let's spend some time to get to know this new character that I invented named John Kent Superboy." And it's like, okay. I don't think you're really putting him over, but all right, I'll take this ride. I'll try and get to know him.
Well, as I've said and have tried to explain to people who are a bit more passionate about this, he's doing something with a character that has largely stagnated since his introduction in Rebirth. Since like he hasn't had really much character development. Like Super Sons was the last time that happened. Adventures of the Super Sons isn't doing anything with him character wise.
Which I guess they can't, but yeah, he's running in place in Super Sons because that's kind of what that series is. Even though I like it more than Superman.
Yeah, so at least Bendis is doing something with that character and not just doing the same thing over and over again. He still needs to learn how to write like a fucking human being, though.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, which is weird. I keep saying this book is just the dialogue in it is just so weird. We had Young Justice the week before, and that was written competently. Naomi is written competently. Action Comics is written competently. Like,
well, in Naomi, he has David F. Walker helping him out.
That's true, but like, at least people talk like people.
And with Leviathan in Action Comics, which is currently my favorite thing he's writing, with that being so big and so many other writers on, I'm like, did Matt Fraction sneak in and help you out? Because like some of this seems fractiony, actually.
Yeah, very fractiony.
Is someone ghostwriting your Action Comics? Because again, if you're getting paid $30,000 per issue, you might be able to hire a ghostwriter to help you with some of this stuff. I'm just saying, wouldn't that be fucked up to find out later? It's like, oh yeah, someone else was writing Action Comics. We just put his name on it.
It's like that. I would be like, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. But man, Action Comics is getting pretty good, isn't it?
It is. It really is, though.
I'm actually excited for Leviathan and where that was going to go. This Superman book, not so much.
It's very strange. I know, like, coming up there is a big like crossover between this and Supergirl happening.
Really?
Which apparently wraps up the whole Rogel's R stuff, so that could be interesting.
Oh, goody. The character who we introduced learned nothing about in Superman. It's nice to know Rogol Zar will return. We will see more of Rogol Zar, Matt. Don't you worry. Everyone's favorite the breakout character of 2018.
Yes, Roger Zerg.
Yeah, good old Roger Zerg. That's got to be the new joke every time we say Roman Lazar. We just have to fuck up his name every time. Yeah. But, yeah, that was Superman. We had Avengers this week, too. We had more No Road Home.
We did, and it's still really cool.
It is. And moving at a great pace, too. We're at the halfway point now at 5 issues. And I'm like, man, what are they going to do to keep this interesting 5 issues in? Oh, yeah, what if Conan shows up?
Yeah. What if Conan shows up? What if the Hulk kills Hypnos? What if Nyx like kills Vision and Hercules?
There's a great joke in here in the first 5 minutes that is so brilliant. I'm shocked no one has done this before. It's Nyx. She's gotten the Shard of Night. She's like, yes, the thing that will allow me to get back my powers. I don't know what to do with this crystal. Do I break it? Do I eat it? What do I do here? I'm like, yeah, why does every villain automatically always know what to do with the artifact when they get it? I like Nyx admitting I have no idea what to do here.
And that makes like her whole plan really funny as well. It's like, I have to get these shards, but I have no idea what to do with them.
I didn't plan in the middle here, guys. I'm like the underpants gnome. Step 1, shard. Step 2, question mark. Step 3, profit. Yeah, it was funny, too, to see Hypnos, who they get built up as being like, oh, yeah, he's the heavy hitter of Nyx's children. Look at his cool armor. Look how tough and awesome he is. He spends the whole issue running from the Hulk. Don't hurt me, Hulk. And then Hulk snap.
I like that, too, but also I'm kind of sad because they did build him up like that. I'm like, oh, he's going to get this awesome fight where he, like, single-handedly takes down the Hulk and, like, all of the Avengers. But, yeah, no, he dies. Although in saying that, he was technically in a dream when he died.
That's true. He might not be dead. Also, hey, if we want to talk about it, Nyx has magic powers. Her other sons have magic powers. Hypnos had no magic powers. He was already the weakest of the children.
Yeah, well, I think he could make people sleep. Like, he would turn them into his sleepers like he did with Kate Bishop.
Oh, that was a fun scene, too, to see Clint Barton go full, like, doting father. Why are you asleep? It's past noon. Were you out all last night? You got to start taking care of yourself. When are you going to grow up and be an adult, says Eternal Man-Child Hawkeye. That's great. I love that. I like they worked that in because I know Thompson, who writes this, also writes that new Avengers book, so that felt like really rewarding if you're reading her like new Avengers
Hmm.
or East Coast Avengers, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's this was a good one, and now it's like, holy crap, Conan's here. How is this gonna change
Yeah,
things?
that was really cool. I wonder if like Voyager deliberately sent Wanda there.
That's true. I like too in the little backup there. Jim Zub wrote about how important it was for him as a fan of fantasy and Dungeons and Dragons and Robert E. Howard to get to write Conan here because he's like, oh, he's the original anti-hero. If it weren't for Conan, you would have no Wolverine, no Deadpool,
Hmm.
no Punisher.
Yeah, it's really true. I really want to read like I read the first two issues of his book and the other Conan book as well, and I really, 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 really want to review them because they're really good. But like, yeah, I've just
Are
got
people
so
going to be interested?
well, people were interested because I reviewed the first issue, but I just don't have like the tie with all these other books out.
Yeah. I wanted to cover it too because I know Jason Aaron's writing the main Conan.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
I'm
that
sure
was
that's
really good.
great.
It is.
And from what I understood, he's doing the same thing he did for Thor when it started, where it's like, here's a bunch of stories from Conan at different points in his life.
Yeah, yeah. Like the first issue deals with like the death of Conan.
Oh wow! Right off the bat, we're not fucking around.
Yeah, yeah.
That's cool. I'll have to pick that up. I gotta pick that up, and when Punisher finishes this newest run, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do a big like the story so far.
Punisher's been so good lately.
I was gonna read it this week. I got the last issue. I skimmed through it. I'm like, all right, is this story arc over? Oh no, wait. There's gonna be at least one more. All right, I'll wait till this arc is over and then read the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I love Rosenberg and I love the Punisher, but again, like we said, there's just too much stuff now. You can't get to all of it.
No, yeah, no.
Speaking though of Punishers, the Grim Knight from the Batman Who Laughs had a special one shot this week.
He did, and it was pretty good.
It was, we say one shot, but this literally picks up where Batman Who Laughs left
Yeah,
off.
this is required reading.
This is absolutely required reading. What's great about this issue too is they sell it as like, ooh, learn the dark history of the Grim Knight. And like, well, we already kind of know his history. He basically kind of laid it out for us, and so did the Batman Who Laughs. What's this book going to be about? Gordon. Actually, it's going to be all
Yeah,
about Gordon.
yeah. He was essentially the Grim Knight's Joker.
Yes, he was his arch nemesis, the one person dedicated to bringing him down, but not just bringing him down, doing so by the book to prove that law and order is still
Yeah,
valid and still has a place in the world of this psycho Batman's police state.
in such a that's such a Jim Gordon thing.
Very much so. You can tell Snyder absolutely loves Gordon, and I got real flashbacks reading this of like mech suit Batman, which I think
Mm.
I enjoyed more than most people did.
Yeah, that was a good part of DCU.
It was. People might not like it, but those Detective Comic stories were great when they basically just became Gotham Central. And again, Snyder hits upon this idea where he's like, dudes, next to Batman, Gordon loves Gotham more than anyone else and is willing to protect it harder than anyone else.
Yeah, yeah. I enjoyed seeing what made that Gordon into who he is and how he never like faltered at all. Like when he easily could have. Like there's
Yeah.
that part where he like goes to Mayor Harvey Dent and Rupert Thorne, and they say like, why don't you just sneak in and just kill him? And he's like, no, we got to do this by the book because that's like stooping to his level.
Yeah. It's not a real win if we cheat to do it,
Yeah, yeah,
which is really cool, and it's nice to see a character who believes so heavily in the word of law
yeah.
in a book like Batman, who's all about like, nah, cops are stupid.
Mm.
Let's do it our way. And also the fact too that the Grim Knight is so shocked that Gordon's like, no man, I got a judge and everything. I got a search warrant. I'm taking you down. I'm arresting you. He's like, what? And Gordon's actually able to like beat him in a fist fight because he's so surprised.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. Like they took down Bruce Wayne, like they didn't take down Batman. They took down the Bruce Wayne, which in turn took down Batman.
Which is really nice. And it's like this moment of I beat you. And this like broke Grim Knight's mind even harder. It was like, well, holy shit, if a dude with no powers and no costume could beat me, I have no choice but to throw in with the Batman Who Laughs and, try and start again on another Earth.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, his whole point is he is trying to do this again on this Earth, but he doesn't think Jim is up for it. He doesn't think Jim is like his Jim.
No, it's like if I need to show you that things can get so bad and so horrible once the Batman Who Laughs completes his plan, that will prove to you that my zero tolerance, broken window policing, is the only way to go.
Yeah, yeah, and we find out that that's not really what was happening with Batman Who Laughs, because Batman Who Laughs like stops him from killing Gordon,
Yeah,
but and we find out that like Grim Knight killing Gordon would have been a mercy
yeah, for
because of
whatever they have planned next.
all the horrible shit he has planned for him.
Word. Yeah, but that was a solid one. It's funny to have a spin-off to a spin-off, but it was enjoyable.
It was really cool.
Yo, dog, I heard you like Batman spin-off, so I put a spin-off in your spin-off so you can spin off while you spin off.
I wonder if this is going to lead to like an ongoing.
People really seem to like the Grim Knight, and it again, I mentioned this before when the Grim Knight showed up. It should be stupid, it should be edgy, and it should be like unpalatable, where it's like, dude, what if the Batman was the Punisher? And it should be really dumb, but Snyder's such a good writer, and like the world they build is so interesting, where it's like, nah, I'd read more about this guy.
That's the thing, like the little bits we got of on like his world, where we learned like we saw like that really cool recreation of the year one, the dinner party where he just like killed everyone, and then we find out that like he never actually fought any costumed
Super
individuals
villains,
because he killed them before they had a chance to become the Joker or the Penguin or anything. Like that's
which is
all
amazing.
super interesting.
And the scene that does it for me, that's such beautiful visual poetry. Again, it's the bit from year one, which, man, they are referencing year one a ton in DC now. I guess it's like, okay, fuck it. I guess this is just canon again now, where he's sitting there in the chair and it's like, Father, what should I become to war on crime? The bat flies through the window, but because this Batman's a violent son of a bitch, he shoots the bat as it comes flying through the window. It's like, yes, I will become a bat.
I would have liked if you went, yes, Father, I'll become a gun.
He basically is a gun.
And he turns into Gunman.
Gunman. Gunman and his sidekick Pistol. See, that's what I want to know. In a world where there was no costumed villains, where Batman killed all the criminals, what became of Robin? What became of Dick?
Oh, that I would really like if he like became like a police officer or something.
Yeah, again, because it's like, hey, because Dick kind of was a cop in another continuity, or maybe he stayed a carny. Maybe it's the Grayson Circus now or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Wouldn't that be? There's a lot of interesting ways you could go with that. What would happen with Jason? We know his father was
just fucking getting murdered by Batman. Like, you're stealing my tires.
Oh my god, that's the. Are you fucking stealing my tires? How young is too young? I'm a dome you, son. He's just pistol whipping little Jason. Don't steal tires. And Barbara Gordon's just walking around like, man, it's great to have legs that work. She becomes a gymnast. I'm trying to think what's like the most leg heavy career. And Tim is like, man, it's good having two parents who are alive and not worshiping Batman, because Batman is horrible in this universe. I'm gonna worship Superman. I'm gonna move to Metropolis and try and be like Superman.
Although, what's the Superman in this world like?
What is the Superman? Again, if this is part of the dark universe where everything is like all messed up anyway, exactly what is Superman like? Superman is that Brightburn kid.
Oh God.
And that's the twist. This was all in the James Gunn universe all along. And did you see that trailer for Brightburn? That looks cool.
It does look cool. I don't know why they're re-releasing Man of Steel again, though.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey, didn't we see this movie? But yeah. What else did we have this week, Matt? What else did you want to talk about?
I had The Flash issue 66.
Oh yeah, this thing's chugging along. It was announced in the solicitations this week. We're actually going to be getting the big year one story soon enough.
Yes, I think not long after this issue we're getting it. This issue, however, was like we just had the Price big storyline, so this issue was kind of like I wouldn't say a filler, because it's building off stuff that we've seen in previous issues, and it was a sort of retelling of the Trickster's origins.
Yeah, I saw the Trickster on the cover when I picked up books
Yeah,
this week.
yeah, and this isn't that edgy kid trickster that the New 52 kind of tried to do
It's
or
pushing, yeah.
anything. This is James Jesse.
Oh, the original, the
Yeah,
Mark Hamill one.
yeah, who all through Joshua Williamson's run has been like teased at, and like what's he up to? He's doing something,
Hmm.
and this issue kind of like tells you what he's been up to, and it gives you a background of his origin as a carny. Uh, he was an acrobat in the Flying Jessies.
Yeah, funny, like the Flying Graysons.
Yeah, and all through the issue, we're given the story that his parents were like abusive shit sacks who just like pressured him into doing this and
Of
doing it in
course.
front of like yelling at him in front of people and everything. And we learned that like after that, he left the Carney business and got into the criminal underworld of Central City and became the
That's funny.
trickster.
Most people run away from the circus, or most people run away to the circus. He ran away from the
Yeah,
circus.
yeah, and he became a criminal and used the skills that he had developed in the circus to become the trickster. And
Nice.
for a while, it sort of started working and everything, but then like his act became stale because the Flash was able to stop him before he even had a chance to do anything. So he came up with a brilliant plan, which was he was going to get himself arrested so he could think of a new act while he was in prison, and then he would break out and everything. The only thing wrong with that is he got sent to the new prison, Iron Heights.
So he's like the first guy through the halls of that place.
Yeah, and under Warden Wolf like ran the prison like fucking Guantanamo Bay.
Who we of course know is a supervillain unto himself.
Yeah, and he kept him in like a dark cell, gave him regular beatings. He tried to
Hmm.
escape the prison all the time, but it never worked. And while this is going on, we learn that his family wasn't actually all that abusive. Like it was all that was the act. Like his family
Mm.
would be abusive to him in front of the audience, so the audience bought like
Right.
he was just some kid they sent up the ladder.
Right. Right.
And because of that, it would get give them like tons of money, and that was like his parents like imparting wisdom onto him. You have to deceive people in order to
It's all
succeed.
part of the show.
Yeah, and his parents still didn't care for him because he got injured, and all they cared about was the money.
Mhm.
Um,
So again, classic Carnage. Hey, it's all a work ski, brother.
but yeah, he ends up coming up with like a brilliant plan, and he ends up escaping the prison. No one knows where he went, and he ends up back in Central City, and he becomes wealthy. Like he steals a bunch of money, and he's going to use it to perform the biggest trick that Central City and the Flash will never forget.
Ooh, again, that's some very Joker-esque shit there. What's my last laugh? What's my biggest joke of
Yeah,
all?
yeah, really interesting. He's doing some really cool stuff with these villains, and he's done it like with Heatwave. He did it
Yeah.
with like the original Trickster. Made that. He did it with James Jesse, and he did it with the New 52 Trickster that was around. And yeah, he's just been doing all these like little stories with the villains and making them more than just like some masked criminal.
Have we seen Captain Boomerang yet? Has he used Captain Boomerang at all?
I want to say in like some of the early Rebirth stuff, but he hasn't been around for like ages. Like we don't even have Captain Cold. We have Commander Cold from the 31st century. So
Right. Interesting. You do a great job selling Flash, Matt. I wish I had more time to sit down and read it because it sounds like a really great run.
read year one. Read year one when it comes out.
I think maybe I should. I think maybe I should hop on with year one because man, the art on year one looks great, doesn't
Yeah, the
it?
Howard Porter art is amazing.
Man, so pretty. Like those covers are so great. And him with his shoes all burnt out and everything in his
Yeah,
early costume. He's just wearing a red shirt and like glasses with little fins on them.
yeah, it looks really cool.
And Flash has never had a year one before, so it's kind of
Yeah,
special.
it's kind of like overdue as well.
Yeah, very much so. Uh, what did I have this week? I had Amazing Spider-Man issue number 17, the beginning of Hunted.
I read this one. I actually caught up on it on Spider Man.
What I hope you love references to the original Craven's Last Hunt because boy did they come fast and furious in this story.
Do you remember Craven's Last Hunt? You remember?
I sure do. It was a great story, and Nick Spencer's like, I agree, it is a great story, isn't it? It's so great that even Craven's like, man, my original death was so dope and so awesome. Why was I cheated this awesome death? Why do forces, aka other writers, keep trying to bring me back? And it's great because it's like Craven had this whole other plan, involving trophy hunters and trying to get rich off them and hoping
Hmm.
they kill each other so he can get all his land in Africa back. And then Black Cat showed up and he's like, ooh, Spider-Man loves you. And I bet if I keep you captive, he's gonna come and try and get you. And the old, the old story says that only the spider can kill me. So man, I really hope Spider-Man can kill me. Which I love that wasn't his original plan, but that plan just kind of fell in his lap, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, we're doing this now."
Yeah, this is what we're doing now. Plans changed.
Yeah, plans change, everyone. Which he does not tell his son Craven Jr. about this, who gets a
No.
great scene of just stomping the piss out of a poor sick Spider-Man. And Spider-Man being like, "Oh, come on, it's Craven. He's a joke. Oh God, he's younger and stronger than Craven was in his prime. Oh God." And he gets him with the peyote mist. Oh, I'm tripping balls.
I did think it was like kind of like it wasn't really explained in the book, but like obviously like because it's referencing like Craven's Last Hunt and everything, we see Spider-Man in like the symbiote suit, and obviously
Yeah.
that's not the symbiote suit. It's not
Yeah.
Venom. So I'm like wondering like okay, so like they changed him into a costume. It probably doesn't have all his gadgets, so it's they
No.
kind of given him like a handicap there a bit.
Yeah. Well, again, no one said Craven was fair.
That's true. Yeah.
Also, too, I'm like, wait, so you undressed him, which means Craven Jr. now knows Spider-Man's true identity.
Yeah, or did they put that over his suit? Or
Oh, there you. That's what issue 18 will have to explain.
that's
No,
the next tie-in. They explain
no.
how they undressed him without
You know
seeing
what
his
they did?
identity.
They took 2 cans of black spray paint and they just spray painted over him like Miles in Spider-Verse. No, we can't look at his face. That would ruin it. Although, to be fair, these guys have no freaking clue who Peter Parker is.
Oh yeah, they'll be like, "Who's he?"
It's gonna be that scene in Flash where Lex Luthor jumps in the Flash's body and looks at himself in the mirror. He's like, I will finally learn the Flash's identity. I don't know who this is. Why would you? But yeah, this one's off to a pretty cool start.
It is, and it's coming out at a really good pace as well. Where it's just
Very
like
much so.
it's his own event where it's quite long, but
It's
it's coming out really quickly.
it's basically its own weekly series because you get an issue, then a tie-in issue, then an issue, then a tie-in issue.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'm interested to see where they're going with this. This seems like an actually pretty tasteful, what is it? A tasteful cover song to the original Craven's Last Hunt.
Yeah.
Craven's New Hunt, Craven's second to last hunt, Craven's real last hunt. We promised at this time.
Yeah, no backsies.
No backsies, no takesies, backsies, and you got a pinky swear on. That's fine. We can kill Craven. We got a backup Craven right over here. Who we've made a point of saying he's his genetic clone in every single way.
Yeah, that's true.
But dresses slightly different and is better than Grim Hunter. Remember Grim Hunter in that story, Grim Hunt, which everyone loved when it was coming out, but then everyone kind of forgot about? That's where they killed Kane originally.
Hmm.
Yeah. What else did you have? I had like 2 more books.
I had Old Man Quill issue 3.
Oh yes, you've been keeping up with this. How is Old Quill?
It has been going really cool. So last issue, Peter and the Guardians killed the Wrecker crew, stopped them from like taking over this town, and because of that, when they went to the next town, they are heralded as heroes. Star-Lord is heralded as this legendary like hero now. Which I guess is pretty good for like he needs to save Earth, so he's on the right path.
Right.
And he ends up going into a bar and getting drunk with the people, and the
Naturally.
bar is Josie's bar.
Funny.
And the town love him because they want him to deal with their problem, which is a biker gang called the Ghost Riders.
That's
And
fun.
it's cool. They're cool. They're all these biker gangs. They've got like the skull makeup on their face and everything. And they're like Doom's enforcers in this region who like send Doom's message out to people whether they want it or not. So
I'm guessing it's not.
yeah, it's definitely not. So Peter has to take them all down. He takes them all down and leaves one alive to like send out his message, which was probably a bad idea because later on that night when they're like camping out, they get taken by like this huge biker gang, like thousands of them. They end up getting captured, and they don't kill him because there's a live bounty on his head for some reason, and we're not sure why. And we find out why, because he gets taken to a city which is under Taskmaster's rule.
Oh, nice.
And he meets up with other captured heroes, including Ashley Barton. And they're taken out into like, it's like a baseball stadium that's been turned into like Roman Colosseum sort of thing.
Classic Road Warrior shit.
Yeah, and they learned that like, since they and Ashley and all these other heroes didn't bend the knee to Taskmaster when he told them to, they have to fight Fin Fang Foom.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool book, and while all this is going down, the universal truth is still hunting him. And we get a little bit of that throughout the comic, of like Gladiator coming to Earth and just like sending out his team, which I'm not sure who the team members are, but one of them's Manta and one of them looks like Storm.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it is Storm or whether it's just someone who's like vaguely looks like her. But yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see what we're going to get at the end of this series.
Right on.
Yeah, it's a damn good book, and I'm loving that it's building off of like the Old Man Logan, Old Man Hawkeye like world.
It's become like a world unto itself now, hasn't it? Like,
yeah.
we thought it was just very small. Turns out it's bigger than you thought.
Yeah, I love all like the little things like the Ghost Riders, or like Taskmaster being like a gladiatorial leader of this town or something. It's cool.
The Tyrannosaurus Rex that has the symbiote in it.
Yeah.
Which also shows up.
Yeah.
I had Justice League Dark this week.
Ooh, what's that been like?
Fun. Again, last issue we met the Lords of Order, the other Dr. Fates, basically.
Yeah, they all have each an item like gloves and chest plates and capes and stuff, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fair. If it's got a helmet, then yeah, there's probably other items. And I just thought that they were going to be beings on their own, but they're like, no, they actually have their own magical host. So if you wondered where Extrano and Madame Xanadu and a bunch of other magical characters went, that's where.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah, so basically everyone that Tynan didn't have a plan for or couldn't write, they become a Lord of Order.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm wondering, like so Madame Xanadu's one, which is kind of strange since she's in the Hawkman book at the moment as like Hawkman's like go-to magician.
Right. Well, she's a Lord of Order now. we don't know when she got grabbed or when this book takes place, but yeah, she's a Lord of Order now. There's a great scene of Jason Blood Etrigan being like, I'm not afraid of you, Lords of Order. I've walked the earth for over 1,000 mortal years, and I have, a devil inside me. Bring it. And he transforms, and the Lords of Order are just like looking at him like, really, dude? Really? This is where you're going with this? You studied under Merlin? Yeah, we taught Merlin. You read every magical text. Guess who wrote the magical text? To which they're like, and you know what else we can do? Your demon. We're divorcing you, and we're sending Etrigan back to hell. So you're just a dude now.
I was always under the impression that would kill Jason.
I was under that impression, too, that it was like a big Merlin punishment, but the Lords of Order showing their place in the pecking order, that they can do whatever they want. And at this point, the heroes are like, well, we're totally boned now. Our only heaviest hitters are a chimp with a sword and Blue Devil. So we got nothing going on, but the B-plot is, Wonder Woman and Zatanna, they try and find Cersei again. The idea being that it's like, well, if we're fighting the Lords of Order, we have to become Lords of Chaos.
Ooh.
That's the only way we'll have power. And hey, if you read the DC solicitations for June, you see a cover where, yes, indeed, they become Lords of Chaos, and they all have their own, devil trigger form.
Oh, that's cool. I'm wondering, because they've introduced these other, parts of, the order, gauntlets, and, are we going to get a scene with, Dr. Fate wielding all of them?
Maybe it'll be Khalid. Maybe Khalid will hold all the parts, because he's here and he's still showing up and he's still being a character. I like someone rescued him from obscurity.
Yeah, his Dr. Fate series in DCU was actually pretty good.
They didn't give much of a chance to him, much like they didn't give much of a chance to anything in DCU.
Well, for good reason. It was all kind of terrible with little bits that were good.
The majority of it was forgettable, but hey, I'll never forget Prez. We had Prez. Is what we had. I had one more book too.
What was that?
That was The Magnificent Miss Marvel from Saladin Amid.
Oh, nice. How's that going?
Pretty good so far. It's a real first issue. It's a real jumping on point, so much to the point that Kamala actually stops and gives her origin story again.
That's cool.
Because all of her friends knew she was Miss Marvel because she told them, but they had no idea how it happened. So she had to actually sit them down and be like, "All right, so this mist hit me, right?" And I wake up and I'm the best Inhuman ever, and all the other Inhumans are gone. I'm the one that remains. Man, that happened, and that hasn't even reached Kamal in the book yet, that all the other Inhumans are dead or missing or some shit.
Oh, no.
That just went completely over her head, although they do tease that she might actually be going to space pretty soon.
Ooh, interesting.
For the first time, because there's like another... Well, no, technically she went to space in Avengers, but yeah, there's another alien invasion in Jersey City, which happens all the goddamn time. It's basically a running joke now that aliens keep invading New Jersey.
Why would you want to go to New Jersey?
Why New Jersey? It's like the Empire State's right over there. Sure, they have the best diners in the world here in New Jersey, but come on. But yeah, this couldn't come at a worse time because obviously, like in the last annual, Kamala's mom let it be known, "Oh yeah, I know you're Miss Marvel. I figured it out." And she's like, "Cool, can you not tell Dad?" And she's like, "All right." So she proceeded to not tell Dad until this first new issue. And she's like, "Well, I had no choice. I had to tell your father." And he's not happy about it, but like unhappy in like a realistic parent way.
Yeah.
He's not like, "Oh, well, you're under my roof. You will not be a superhero." He's more like, being a superhero is really fucking dangerous. Do you know how many people die being superheroes? And I'm like, Kamala died in Champions #3, and Miles had to wish her back with the help of Mephisto, so it's already happened.
Yeah.
She already has one death under her belt, and she doesn't know, and her dad doesn't know. And he's like, "Look, maybe when you're older, maybe when you're done school, you can go back and be a hero or whatever, but I just wouldn't be a good parent if I let you do this."
Yeah, no.
And it's like, man, he's making solid points, and you're like, if main universe Aunt May had figured out what Peter Parker was doing, because she's a nice, sensible lady, would she have let him keep doing it? I mean, heck, he basically lied to Aunt May for the longest time, as did most teen heroes, and it seems that this is a new thing moving forward, hey, honesty. And this leads to a fight, and eventually, something happens with her parents, and she might need to go to space.
Oh, no.
But yeah, it's a pretty solid start, and unlike Saladin Amid when he was writing Miles, where I feel like he very much overhauled the way Miles spoke and how his internal monologue sounded, here Kamala seems pretty much untouched.
Cool.
Yeah, I liked it. I'm definitely going to stick with this one.
Awesome.
And yeah, that's basically it for me for this week.
Cool. I had Supergirl issue 28.
Oh yes. What did we learn here?
We learned kind of a little bit. We kind of had like a brief break in the Rogol story while Supergirl helped the Omega Men fight Harry Hokum, which continued and kind of finished in this issue with her fighting Kryptonian clones of herself. All that like kind of dies straight away because they're not cellularly their cellular integrity isn't as good as Hokum wanted.
Yeah, clones get what you pay for.
Yeah, so their battle ends. I can't remember whether I talked about last issue, because last issue reintroduced Ryanda, which is Starfire's brother.
No, you didn't mention this.
Yeah, he hasn't been in a comic for like decades.
No, hey, good. Happy to see him again.
So yeah, he's in this, and there's like teasers of like maybe him and Kara might be romantically involved.
Oh, like that's an interesting pairing.
It seems like they're setting that up, like, which would be really cool because he can give her solar energy whenever she needs it.
That's right. I never even considered that.
They'd be too OP together.
Yeah, really. They'd be like, "Look, we gotta break up this pairing because it's not fair for the rest of us."
Yeah, their kids would be too OP.
What do you mean, solar energy and Kryptonian DNA? That's bullshit.
But yeah, they defeat the clones, and Kara goes after Harry Hokum, and learns that he isn't part of the Circle, but he knew that the Circle was involved in Krypton's destruction, and he blackmailed them. And the reason he got the Kryptonian tech was he blackmailed them into giving him the strip mining rights to Krypton's debris, and that's where he got the Kryptonian tech from. And like he tells Kara all that before being teleported away by this crystalline being who last issue we found out is actually the Kaluan that's helping Kara's mother, and she's like the leader of the Circle.
That sounds much more interesting than anything that's happening in Brian Michael Bendis.
Yeah, the actual story behind, you know, the story that he kind of sort of set up in that Man of Steel miniseries is being completely explained here, which is mind-boggling. I have no idea why.
And probably not even half the people who read that original Man of Steel are reading this.
Exactly, which is a shame because Supergirl's never been any better. Like, she's out in space fighting aliens and stuff. And
it's a cosmic book now.
Yeah, that's what happens here. And she like ends up joining with Ryanda and Xander and Crypto Finder, so they've got like their little team now. Nice. And we learned that Gandello, the Crystal Woman, sends out a signal to like what's called the Cult of Rogel. And it's like this cult that lives on like the outskirts of the universe, that all have like symbols branded into their head and everything. And she calls for Kara's death. So yeah, it's getting very interesting. And next issue apparently is going to be the big reveal of who destroyed Krypton. So
was it Rogel? They seem to say it was.
Yeah. Well, this issue seeks to imply that Rogel went rogue from the Circle and did it himself.
Yeah, because he has some weird, deep-seated hatred for Kryptonians that has still gone unexplained.
Well, he has deep-seated hatred, but he was also working with Kryptonians because he was working with Kara's father, developing like some type of weapon or something.
Apparently, he was working with Jor-El too, because he says to Superman, "I know your dad as well." Yeah,
god damn it! I hope Mark Andreyko explains all of this, and it's like completely like not a shit show. Like
that'd be nice.
Kind of like when Williamson did like Tom Taylor. He's not tied down by what Bendis is doing.
Yeah, it's like, look, I got to tell my own story and have another.
Yeah.
Hopefully, more meaningful explanation.
Oh, it will definitely be more meaningful.
Because is anyone gonna care who destroyed? It doesn't matter who destroyed Krypton. No. It got destroyed.
No. I liked the stuff with like Jor-El being plucked there by Dr. Manhattan and all that, and then like it went fucking nowhere.
Yeah, I know. It's like, who shot the Waynes? It was Joe Chill. Well, who was Joe Chill? I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It literally could have been anybody. You know, he's an embodiment of the random cruelty of crime.
Yeah.
Just as, you know, why Krypton blew up doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's just an inciting incident.
Yes, exactly. It's an exciting... You don't need to explain every bit of the inciting incident.
No.
And you don't need to make that part of the story, because if you do sometimes, then it's like, oh, so this is like destined to happen and everything and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
But yeah, so was that everything for this week, Matt? Was that everything you read?
That is everything.
Well, alrighty then. So I guess we'll start winding the show down here. Everyone, thank you so much for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. As always, you can find the show first over on Patreon. We usually put that up Sunday night after we're done recording. Everyone else will get it Wednesday at 8 a.m. on the Cape Joel YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe there if you haven't already. Be sure to follow me on Twitter so you know when that is. And the audio version goes up Thursday on SoundCloud, and I appreciate everyone who goes there and downloads. We're actually getting very good numbers on there.
Yeah.
So that's always nice to see. Anything else to talk about there, Matt? Anything else you want?
Not really. Not at this moment, no.
No, I don't really have anything either. Yeah, everyone, I guess that will just about do it for us then.
It will, I guess so.
All right, so until another week, everyone, I've been Joel.
I'm Matt.
And we will see you again on another episode of the Comic Multiverse next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.